Hey, I'm going to take another look at the beehives again today, so stay tuned. Welcome again to the apiary here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I'm going to take a peek in the 2 hives that I have left to see just how big the population is and see if I did any good with a week's worth of stuff when I fed them. And we're also going to take a look at the sugar water I put out. And it appears that it is attracting other bees and some black bees. I've never seen this species before, so let's take a look together. One moment while I put on my bee gear. Okay, moment's up. I got my bee gear on, so let's go ahead and crack open one of the hives and start looking. Now remember, I have 2 hives that are supposed to have bees in them. That has honey on that side. That's just drawn out comb. That has some drone cells, some honey, some more drone cells, some honey, and some of them are hatched. That was an empty frame. That has some honey, capped honey. This is empty, completely empty. I'm afraid this hive is dead. Yep, they've cleaned this hive out. Now this one's full of honey on both sides. It's just loaded with honey. I got one small cluster of bees right there. That's it. And there's... I don't see a queen. Those bees are after the honey. Here's another small colony, one right there. Let's see if I can find the queen. This colony is too small to survive the winter. This hive's dead. So the verdict is very disappointing. This hive will not survive the winter. That is really disappointing. Let's go check out this other hive. I have a feeling it's already dead. Well, this frame is nicely drawn out, but it's completely empty. That frame is not drawn out, and that's partially drawn out. Empty, 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 empty. All these top ones are empty. So, the bees did not advance to the top of this frame. Oh boy. Let's see what we got down here. Remove this burr comb and this stuff. This comb on the top of the frames, we call it burr comb. And just scrape it off. This hive is completely dead. So I have no hives that are going to survive winter. I'm going to have to start all over again from scratch. And let's see what we got here. Well, it looks like that's got wax moths. Curses! One of the beekeeper's arch nemesis is wax moths. Yep, see? See those webs? That's wax moth. This is what you do to wax moth. Yeah, this hive is completely dead. I see no supersedure cells, like they even made another queen or anything like that. No swarm cells. Now, this is interesting. Okay, let me get rid of my beekeeping equipment and I'll be back with a verdict. Okay, I'm back and this is the verdict from the beekeeping experience of 2018. I've had a really tough year as far as 4 fires total this year within a very close proximity of my beehives. We had the barn fire in the spring, which really set me back with gardening, beekeeping, and a lot of other activities that go with homesteading, having to deal with that event and the rebuilding of the barn. Number 2 is we had that big lightning storm come through and spark 2 wildfires within each, 2 of them each within a 9-mile radius of Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. In the third one, the third fire was the Ramsey Canyon fire, which was really close to the homestead, about 3/4 of a mile that way. And so I'm not sure, with all the fires in our region and all the smoke coming into our valley repeatedly for months on end, if that had anything to do with the bees. But the verdict is, I really suck at beekeeping this year. Now, it may not be true for other years, because last year I was contending with an idiot up on the hillside. It was having illegal marijuana grows, and he was using every banned pesticide you could think of to save his crop, but poisoning all of the pollinators. And there's evidence of the pollinators being destroyed in the whole area, because even the feral tree of bees that were up behind the barn, they even died. And then bees just disappeared here for about a year. So when the Department of Agriculture came in and did their inspection, a lot of beekeepers lost a lot of bees that year. The bees I did have here all year, or I got them last spring, they survived the winter and let us to clear through now. There's evidence of a couple of swarms out of there, which are a good thing. Now don't get me wrong, swarms are a good thing, they're healthy for a hive. It just depletes the number of bees, and depending on the swarming, the time of year that the swarm occurs could lead to a bad thing for the colonies that you're trying to keep. But if I didn't have all the other stuff going on, I would have been out here in the bee yard and splitting the hives and taking those supersedure cells that were creating new queens and putting them into other hives and splitting my colonies and giving them that sense of they split. So they went and did their own swarm and swarmed into the other hive. And that way I could grow my yard. But I just didn't have the time this year. So there literally is just no saving what's left of these colonies. My plans for next year is try one more time. And if I'm not successful next year, I'm just going to just retire the beekeeping part of Pine Meadows Hobby Farm and altogether, because I've tried and I just could not do it. Some people have the knack, some people are naturals with this, and I'm just going to be going through some more beekeeping courses and also trying to get into the local beekeeping school, because every time they had the beekeeping school I was scheduled to work. So I'm going to find out ahead of time when that school is going to happen, and I'm going to make sure I have that weekend off from work so I can be able to attend those classes, because I really want to give these girls a fighting chance here at the homestead. If not, then we'll just make do with what we got with the native bees that are swarming around, and who knows, maybe I'll see a feral colony somewhere and be able to utilize that. We'll see. I know some of my bees have swarmed and they're out there somewhere. I see evidence of them in the garden when they're coming in, and they're still pulling in pollen and nectar from what's still blooming. We're still in summer. I believe tomorrow is the first day of fall, and the bees are working and getting ready for winter, so there's evidence of honeybees all over the place now this year. Last year was different, there was hardly any. Now these are the strange bees that I found at the sugar water bee feeder. They're black with white spots on them. I've never seen these before. Well, that's a simple demonstration of just how transparent we really are here on this channel, and showing you my triumphs and my failures. Beekeeping right now is a huge fail for this year. I am really disappointed, but I found a local beekeeper. I'm going to try to get 2 swarms from him. If not, I'll be involved in the Beekeeping Association and be on the committee to be able to go out and capture swarms during my time off from work and get free bees. We'll see how that goes. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a modern homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. You can follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Reddit, Google+, and Blogger. I was unable to be accepted into Tweak TV or Twitter TV, whatever they call it. I was a little disappointed about that, but whatever. It is what it is. We'll see you guys in more videos. Bye-bye.